Hello, and welcome everybody to another Thursday night edition of Aquaholics Anonymous. I love it. There's a spirit right there. The backyard bear says, "Hi, my name is Bear, and I have MTS." Welcome, Bear. As do most of us. Glad to have you here. Appreciate you joining the stream. I know John and Lisa are still currently going, so I'm going to talk about a couple of, I guess, tech things, stream related, while he's still talking. Because it's kind of funny. I had to change things up a little bit tonight because a lot of it was kind of the same type of things that John talked about, things like new cameras and new stuff like that. I am very happy to say that I did order the new mic. So the Blue Yeti, because I know people will be asking which one. I've talked about it and wanted it for a while. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this month's YouTube check, the awesome super chats and stickers and memberships that you all give to the channel to help support. And we're going to upgrade the sound quality. And I'm also going to get a camera. Haven't 100% decided, but we'll be upgrading that and hopefully a couple of other things so that we can come to you in a little bit crisper picture. Right now, the streaming setup, because I run it off of the laptop, is somewhat limited. But I appreciate Merdula saying audio and video good. Thank you very much, Rebecca Jackson. How are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful night. And Fishing Tank Dicks has a couple of super chats in here, dropping the $1 super chat before the stream even started. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. And then the $2 super chat right after the stream started. Again, Fishing Tank Dicks, appreciate you, my friend. As I mentioned, that stuff goes to improving the stream, paying for the services and all that wonderful stuff. So I always appreciate that. Helps keep the lights on, I guess the best way to put it. Appreciate you. John McKenzie also throwing that $1 pile of fertilizer on the stream. I'm going to go through these and then I'll get back to some of the topics we're going to talk about tonight. It's going to kind of be fast and loose, a bunch of different things to discuss, and then, of course, taking Q&A from you all. But John McKenzie, thank you for pooping on the stream with that $1 pile of fertilizer. Always appreciate that. Then our buddy Select Pet over here says, I took off work tomorrow so I can hang out with my fish buddies tonight. Paying $10 just to tell us that. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. I appreciate that you took the day off work. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you very much for the super chat. Look forward to seeing you again in the near future with Fish Swaps starting up again.
What? And you know what else is starting up this week?
That?
He is having a fish meeting.
Ooh, very nice.
And he invited us to go, and I haven't talked to you about that yet.
Okay.
So I don't know if we'll be able to do it. I need to get a hold of him, and I forgot. I've got so many different things in the fire. I need to find out what time his show is, or not his show, his meeting is on Saturday, and where. I saw John Cox said I have a Facebook message. I was about to read it, and we went live right at the moment. So I'm going to be meeting up with him tomorrow and giving him some micro worms.
So very cool. Nice. Yeah, and you picked those up at the swap we went to, right?
I did. I got a 3-pack of micro worms, Walter worms, and banana worms.
Very nice.
Ginger Graves asked if she could have some micro worms or one of the worms to feed her baby bettas that she's doing. So I was going to ask John if there was one that he wouldn't mind me giving. I mean, he didn't actually ask for them, so I don't want Nico pushing his body on my tea. Nico just sat down. But I'm sorry, I digress. Let's keep talking.
You're good. But that's one of the subjects we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the fish swap that we went to in Cincinnati this past weekend. And just fish swaps in general, some of the pros and cons, things to look out for, and some of the things that you might run into going to fish swaps. Sarah J. Sieber says, hi, everyone. I'm about to start working on putting some rocks together with epoxy putty. We'll be listening in. Had a crazy day. Time to relax. I believe it was Sarah. Yes, she's doing a saltwater tank. It's going to be a sexy shrimp tank. That is awesome. I don't bring that up just because it's awesome, but also because I'm going to talk to you all very briefly about a saltwater setup. I've got a couple of different options for which tank I'm going to do salt. I've already got a 110-gallon saltwater tank, but I'm making that the community tank for the angelfish that used to be back here. Some of you all will notice this looks a bit different. And I'm going to have to get a new light for this because the lighting is horrible. I was talking to Ed about that and trying to substitute the light pre-stream, and I just didn't have time to make it work properly. But those angels will be going in the 110, and I want to take all of that sand and rock and either do a 75-gallon reef tank, or I've got a 90-gallon tank that actually already has the overflow. It can plumb it into a sump and all those wonderful things. So one of those two, I think, is what I've come down to for the final decision. And that'll be nice. The 90 will get emptied out because the 125 that the piranhas are in, the Bishers or the Bashirs, the Bickers, however you prefer to pronounce it, will be going into that 125. So they'll get to go in there. That leaves the 90 freed up. The 75 is empty right now because it needs to be resealed. And I just haven't quite decided. So you all let me know. Basically the same footprint, but the 90 is a bit deeper. And as I mentioned, it's drilled and reef ready, as they call it, whereas the 75 is not. I think either one of those, we could do some really nice stuff for the channel. And also let me know if you're even interested. I know a lot of you all either aren't doing saltwater, and maybe you don't even want to see anything saltwater related. But if you'd like to see that set up and how that progresses, let me know, and we can certainly film that along the way. Let's get rolling on through here.
Here's Peplin Creek. Peplin Creek is in the house.
I do also have, and this is another one of those things that kind of went with John and Lisa over at KG. I've got some mail, which let me not dox myself or others, but I've got a couple of mail things I wanted to open today. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But some things like that. And of course, take a Q&A. If you have a question, feel free to put @FishRoomFever, and that will highlight it for me and make it stand out so that I can grab those out of the chat a bit easier. Also, and this kind of plays into the mail thing. One of the things I got from someone that wished to remain anonymous / not get, I guess, praised all the time for doing it, but I got some more prepaid postage for sending out stickers. I just got some of Ed's stickers. I've been waiting for those so that I could send them out with mine. But if you would like stickers, I actually, because I've been getting a lot of email on the Fish Room Fever email address, and thank you, Akira says KG Tropicals to me here. I appreciate everyone just coming over. We've kind of been holding the show for you all, so you haven't really missed anything. Just some banter and some back and forth, waiting to get into the main topics. That way you all weren't coming in mid-conversation not knowing what was going on, because we don't want to turn people off that have just gotten here. But I appreciate you all being here. That's very awesome of John and Lisa for the send over. But I've got a new email address. If you would like stickers, and as I said, I have Ed's now to send along with mine, you can email frfstickers@gmail.com. And that is strictly for stickers. Anything else you can still send to the Fish Room Fever. So if it's a collaboration or a question or anything of that nature, send it to the standard email. But if it's a sticker request, send it to that new sticker one. That's going to help me not miss people, because I've had a couple of people that have sent requests and it gets put in multiple columns. Anyway, I digress.
You know, that's genius, though, of you, because I was holding them off because I was going to be getting some Aqua Cop ones.
Right.
And then, unfortunately I didn't. But unfortunately, I've got about 2 months worth of people that I've got to try to find now.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's not going to be a fun chore.
No, absolutely not. All right, let me grab some of these questions real quick, and we will kind of bounce back and forth between questions and our various topics for tonight. Just have a good time. I kind of kept it wide open tonight. What's going on, Multiple Aquariums? Good to see you. Make sure I didn't miss anything highlighted. Oh, there is Paul. And that was Select Pet. All right. So Pegasus Arena says, Fisher Fever and Ed currently moving to new place. I wish I could ask you for help. Well, I wish we could help you out, but good luck with the move. I hope everything and you all and all the fishes get there safely. And I appreciate you being here. Bill Witt says, hello, Fish Room Fever and all you amazing fish family. Bill, good to see you. It was great to meet you this past weekend. Rico says, congrats on the 2.5K Fish Room Fever. I very much appreciate that. It has been hovering right below 2,500 for like the past 2 weeks. Like bounced back and forth. So I very much appreciate that final push. If you happen to be here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. But thank you, Rico Stamp, for that. Paul Sotero says, Fisherman Fever and Ed, have you recuperated from your road trip yet? For the most part, I still have a lot of plants that need planted. They're all in tanks to maintain them and keep them alive, but a lot of things that aren't in their final resting spot, so to speak. And part of that is things like the 110-gallon community tank. I specifically got some plants to go in that. And then I am aquascaping, if you will, because I don't define myself as an aquascaper. But I'm redoing a lot of my tanks because most of them have been set up very utilitarian, and I just like them to look prettier. I enjoy them as they are, but I know that I could definitely make them more visually appealing. And then, of course, you've got, you all watching videos of them. We want them to look nice for you. And if Ed comes over, wants to shoot a fish room tour, or Bob Kaler, or Sean Peck, or whomever may come over wants to do a tour, I want visually appealing tanks. So we're working on that with the plants, but for the most part, recuperated.
Yeah, I proposed a deal for Sean because he was talking about how he likes to try to do other people's tanks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I told him I would let him do 2 or 1, like if you'd want to do a row. So it would be an escape that goes through glass. He's more than welcome to transform a couple of my tanks for me.
That would be very, very cool. I know he enjoys doing stuff like that as well. I had fun doing that Fluval Spec aquascaping with him. Aaron San Mattel says, Fisherman Fever, are you going to sell fish anytime soon? It's getting closer. Today was actually a nice warm day. But that's, as I've always said, if you don't like the weather in East Tennessee, wait 15 minutes. But with it warming up, that's definitely going to get closer. That will probably be something that I open up to members first. If you're somebody that won the Christmas giveaway and you're waiting to redeem that winning until I start shipping fish again, you all will be the first ones I go to. And then from there, I'll probably say, okay, members, this is what I've got. And then as stock, expands and the things make the babies, because I don't import or wholesale. I just sell what I breed. I'll open that up. But I don't want to open it up and then have to close it the next day because everything is sold. As much as I appreciate the fact that you all are amazing and that you want to buy the fish, I would like to make sure that it's at a maintainable level and scale it out accordingly. See here, a Fishy Mom 2381 says, Fisherman Fever, a minimum tank size for a bulldog pleco. Ooh, that's a good question. Let me look up the number on that, just so I know for sure what we're talking about.
That sounds interesting. I've never heard of a bulldog pleco.
Let's look here.
My favorite pleco right now, other than I really love those blue phantoms and the green phantoms just because their colors are so crazy cool. I really like the L303 watermelon. Yeah. I love how those look. I like how they look like watermelons. I just do. Watermelon.
So Rebecca Jackson says, too scared to do salt and so expensive. It definitely can be. The fish in and of themselves are generally more expensive individually. But it doesn't necessarily have to be. There's a gentleman, and I wish I could think of his name. He's got really good content. He's got really, really nice corals. He's got a really nice reef setup. And he maintains that with tap water. Not necessarily recommending that for everybody. Of course, we all know tap water varies, municipality to municipality, depending upon location. But it doesn't necessarily have to be as hard as people think it is. And a lot of it really depends on how far you want to go with it. I like to equate it, for people that have never done salt, I like to equate it to a planted tank. You can go anywhere from, I just threw some plants in the tank with a cheap light and maybe some easy green or some root tabs, to I have this really, really high maintenance, really expensive CO2 setup with a really expensive Kessel light on it. And it's kind of the same when you get into the saltwater. You can do it budget or inexpensive, if you will. And then you can also take it to the extreme, as we can with most things in the fish hobby, right? Okay, so that is actually a new one to me. I was looking for an L number.
The bulldog?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that they are, in fact, because I don't think they get very big. I think they only get about 6-ish inches. I'm going to keep looking at that while I'm reading through here. But Fishy Mom, I appreciate you being here. New name to me. Glad to see you. See if I can find an L number before I speak out of turn. L187B.
While you're doing that, Rico Stan said that he really enjoyed interviewing Sean Peck on his interview show on Tuesday. If you guys have a chance, go check out Rico Stan. Every Tuesday, he talks to a different YouTuber, and he asks questions that aren't about the fish tube. And it's really fun to get to know people. And I mean, James and I are lucky enough. We know Sean, but Rico, you're going to have to move to Knoxville or Chattanooga so you can hang out with James and Sean and I, and we could all play games together. I think you would have a ball with us.
Absolutely. So let's see. Yeah, maximum size 6 inches. So you could probably do a 40 breeder. You could maybe get away with a 29. And I say that because it's a pleco. And I know most people will probably recommend bigger. And I'm not saying that bigger wouldn't be an improvement. It absolutely would be. But given that they're not an extremely active fish in the water column, you maybe could do a 29, in my opinion, and my experience with plecos. But a 40 breeder would be a great starting size. A 55 would be wonderful. But, I don't know. I would almost think a 40 breeder might be better because it's probably not going to spend a whole lot of time out on the glass. It'll probably be mostly bottom surface area that we're looking at and some of the lower areas of the glass. But I don't think that the additional height on that 55 is going to do too much for that pleco. So 40 breeder, if you can do bigger, awesome. If not, I think a 40 breeder would be fine, in my opinion. All right. Let me go through here. Jess Nordholt says, hey guys, I noticed in a few of my tanks that I have Hydra. Have you dealt with this and any tips on how to get rid of it? So Ed, have you had to deal with Hydra before?
I had Hydra years ago, and they used to sell like this copper liquid stuff. Now it'll wipe out all your invertebrates, so you got to be careful. But I used that, and it wiped out all the Hydra in that tank. But that was before I knew about plants. Well, I mean, I knew about plants, but it was before LED lights and everything. So that was the only time I really had Hydra. They're kind of a gross little critter in there, because they got the little things at the top and they're so small. Yeah, I don't like them.
So I have not personally had to deal with them. And if you're not familiar with me, I hate to recommend something I've not personally used. I do know there are several people on YouTube that I trust that have videos. I can't remember, but I know I've seen them. A lot of them are like, what's this in my tank, and how to get rid of it. I would definitely look at maybe 4 or 5 different videos and then take into account what's in your tank. A lot of times, if you've got a shrimp tank, you may treat it differently than a community tank, a hot water tank versus a cold water tank, and so on and so forth. But I honestly don't have a good answer for you, Jess, and I apologize. Jesse, it was Jesse. Sorry.
Aquatic Aesthetics, my fish store guy in Chattanooga, he says dog dewormer. I've used that for planaria. So
yeah, the Panicure C.
Yep. Well, I wonder if General Cure would also wipe it out. Because I used some of the General Cure and it wiped out all the planaria in one of my tanks. So
yeah, it might. And I know while he's not treating Hydra with it, since we were just talking about Sean at Peck Tech, he's got a video where he kind of talks about the Panicure C and acquiring it and dosing and that kind of stuff. So you can check that out. And I'm sure there are a lot of other awesome YouTubers that have videos on it as well. Pose Disabled Keeper of Fish, how's it going? Says, good food for shrimp. So I definitely recommend, now this is not the shrimpy, but pull from the Extreme on it back here. Extreme, they make a shrimpy pellet. That stuff is absolutely amazing. I've not found any shrimp that don't thoroughly enjoy it. And it stays together really well, which is one of the things I look at, since shrimp can sometimes take a little while to go get to the food. they can be a little cautious or just, slow on it. So I've used some pellets in the past that kind of break apart or disintegrate before the shrimp even really get a chance to get on it. But I really love the extreme line of food, and the shrimpy is no exception. And this is why we're ordering the new camera that I talked about before a lot of you all got here.
It is a stinky food too. I
mean, I haven't really.
Let's test the cat sniff. Nico sniffs this. Let's see if he gags on it. He kind of jerked. He doesn't like it.
I don't know, he might. I honestly don't notice an odor from it that's any different from any other fish food. Maybe that's just me. I don't know, but I honestly seem to think it's typically about the same as any other fish food, in my personal opinion. All right, let me get through here. We got that. So we had some super chats and a new member. I appreciate you all very, very much, and I will definitely get to that. I'm going to grab some questions and keep on a rolling here. Fishing Mom 2381 says, Fisherman Fever, do you purchase live bears and plants? If so, how can I contact you on what kinds of fish? If you want to send me an email, fishroomfever@gmail.com. My channel name, my brand name, if you will, @gmail.com. I'd be happy to talk to you. Generally, I get stuff from swaps or people I know, other hobbyists. But yeah, we could definitely talk about it. I would love to find out what you got going on. I don't have like a specific, I only purchase from these people. I've got fish from all over the country and a couple from outside of the U.S. that other people have brought back in and bred. So yeah, send me an email. I'll be happy to talk to you. Liam Blanchard says, Fisherman Fever, I want to set up a tank for shell dwellers. Anyone have some suggestions? So if it is your first Shelly tank, and I'm sure you've still got audio, even though the camera just crashed on me. I almost ordered the camera tonight, but I'm doing some more research. I think we're going to go with a Logitech, but we've got to get this fixed because this is getting really annoying. And I've checked all my ports on my computer, and it's definitely not the ports. But I'm just going to keep talking while I get it set back up. I personally would recommend Multis, Leolamprologus multifasciatus. They're a very, very, very cool beginner shell dweller. They breed really, really easily, and they're just beautiful fish. I love the blue eyes, and I love, there we go. Now we got it back. Now I got to get my chat back. We're going to keep on rolling.
They have the silver body with a little bit of yellow on it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Gorgeous fish. Susan, thank you for coming over from KG. Appreciate that. And all of you all that came over. I see a lot of you all saying came over from KG. So thank you very much for that. But I would definitely look into multis. And that's just typically what you can find them under, MULTI, multi, instead of the full scientific name.
Yeah, but, it's not even their looks. It's what they do that's so much fun.
It really is.
They're the ant farm of the fish world. Because they're always working. And it's awesome to watch.
Absolutely. And Shaali is here. Thank you for that. Says, glad to catch your live stream again. I do watch them afterwards, but a lot more fun live. Love you guys. Love you too. Appreciate you being here. Always good to see you. And I do notice you leave comments and stuff. I love my replay crew. You guys are awesome. And I appreciate you all coming through after the fact when you can't catch the lives. My chat's about to jump. I'm waiting for it. Oh, there we go. All right. We're going to slam through these as quick as I can so we can get caught up. Talk a little bit about the swap. Ooh, look at that. Co-op says, and it pops out because he's an awesome guy and he's got a verified channel, so it pops out on him. This is moved to the new fish room tomorrow. Spent the afternoon taking out 500 pounds of sand. I don't envy you. I reset this tank today and didn't even take out sand, so I'm definitely not jealous. I've probably got 100 pounds of rock and 200 pounds of sand in the salt tank that I'm redoing. So that is going to be a task, but looking forward to seeing more of what you got going on. Get back up here real quick. At what age do multis start breeding? Eric Rodriguez is asking that. I honestly do not know. So here's one of the things that I personally look at more than, how do I phrase this? sometimes it can be hard to tell an age on a fish. I don't really have many fish that I know their age, excluding my piranhas. But a lot of times people will base age upon size, and that's not necessarily accurate because, and I appreciate the fact that you did ask age and not what size did they start breeding, because a lot of people say, well, what size did bristlenose plecos start breeding? And I said, well, you can beef them up and grow them pretty quick, but it doesn't mean they're sexually mature if they haven't aged out. Oh, goodness. Trying to think. I know I've read up on them, but I honestly couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I will have to look that one up and give you the answer, which I know is something you could do yourself, but I hate to leave a question unanswered. That is also as far up as I could go in the chat. So if your question was before that, please throw it back in there. We will get to it. Rolling and a scrolling. Thank you, Zen Ginger, for posting links, and all the mods. Very much appreciate you all. RB Animals and Collectibles says, just emailed you. Fantastic. I will catch up with those after Chattanooga Ed's show. Sean, a.k.a. Only Fish Guy. James, what kind of fish are those in the back? Ed, need those swordtail guppies, bud. Ship me some. So the ones I have back here now are Exodon paradoxus or bucktooth tetras. And again, I know the light is horrible on this. My apologies. I took out a lot of the plants that were in here. We'll get you all a full screen shot. We're going to kick Ed off the stage here for a second. All right, solo. There we go. But I took out a lot of the plants that I had right here. And when I did that, it's allowing a lot more of the light to reflect off of that sand, which is why the substrate is glowing. But I did bring some bloodworms. So let's see if these guys will eat. Now, they did just get moved. Oh, yeah. They're not skittish, even though they just got moved right before the stream. They're very much ready for some more food. And these are just jumbo bloodworms. I'm trying not to pour it all over myself and not block you all's view. But those are the bucktooth tetras. And these are actually the ones that I got from LRB. Super awesome of him. He knows I'm a huge piranha guy, and we were headed up there. And he's like, I really want to find a home for these guys. I've got plans for this tank, and I need them out of here. There's a nice chunk of bloodworms. I was like, absolutely, definitely interested in them. And then Kenny E at Danny County Aquatics says, hey, I got the opportunity to get some bucktooth tetras. Do you think I should? And I said, absolutely, 100%. I think you will love them. I'm actually looking to get a few more. I'd like to have at least 10. And there are 8 in here, which is what Lucas had, LRB. But I'd like to have 10. You can do 8, but 8 is kind of iffy on, are they going to start nipping at each other? These guys stay very well fed, though. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get Ed back up here, so I'm looking all around, plus the second monitor here.
I just realized I was in top chat the whole time. Doggone it. I probably missed half the people.
But I'm really glad to have them here. I do have another light to go on there that's going to give better colors, so they will stick out a little better, and you all can enjoy them. But
John from Select Pet says, next week, can you hand feed those guys?
We could talk about that. For those of you that don't know, that are new to the channel, I've got a piranha bite there. So people like to pick on me about anything that could potentially bite. And, you know, gotta love it. But it healed up nicely. All right. We get caught back up here. And I appreciate y'all hanging out. I don't know how many people we've got, but I appreciate each and every one of you. I can click back over here. 136 viewers and 94 thumbs up. Y'all are amazing. I'm going to get at least a couple more minutes caught up. Look like I'm about 5 minutes behind. I'll catch up on the super chats and the new members because I do very much appreciate you all. We'll open a couple of pieces, trying to flip it so I don't dox anybody, of the mail. And we'll talk about this fish swap and some of the pros and cons of fish swaps. And you know, things we did and stuff we found and opportunities we missed. All right. And that was the what's in the background. Surely I'm not caught up. No, I am not. There we go. And there was the coop. Corey, very much appreciate you just listening while I break down an 800-gallon. I appreciate that very much. Working on doing a video about your pump. So I just want to let you know, if you see, a clickbaity, possibly derogatory, almost looking type thing about a co-op product that may or may not be the pump about something else, just know that I love you and it's a great product. And don't look at it and go, what? That was one thing I was like, I could do this title. That'll be great. And I said, I hope Corey doesn't get mad at me. Paul Sotero says, did you get any of those supercells in your area? We were supposed to get them, but the storm stayed west of 95. Not that I know of. Nothing that was bad enough to knock out power. And power tends to go out fairly easily around here. Not that it stays off for long periods, but it tends to go out fairly easily. All right.
Yeah, I had them. And I have water in my fish room. So my foundation, I think, is starting to leak somewhere. And so that's not cool. I've got to figure out that. And it's not from a tank. It's from this water. And we're supposed to get like another 4 inches of rain in the next 2 days. We actually had more rain than Portland last year here in Chattanooga. It was crazy.
I remember you talking about that when Danican Aquatics was in town. Edgar Reyes, hello to you, my friend. As always, swinging by to say hello to myself and Chattanooga Ed and the crew here. All right. Yeah, Finn Bendazole equals Panicure C. Hey, Dan Slee, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Appreciate you being here. For those of you that did the super chats and stickers and you're like, he passed it, I've got them all lumped together on my other screen. I am going to get to you. I very much promise you. Select Pet says, Fisher and Fever, you getting the $50,000 camera John at KG was talking about? No, I will probably go with a Logitech 922. But I don't know for sure. And that's why I didn't bite the bullet. I wanted to research a little bit more because I've got some plans. While StreamYard is great, I would very much like to come to you all in a little bit better quality. This comes through at 720, which is fine because a lot of people listen. But I like the higher quality option to be there just because we want to present a good show and give you all some decent quality. Plus, you can see things like fish better when we talk about things. But definitely not the 50K camera. Not quite there yet. Maybe next year. Aaron San Mattel, how do I find other hobbyists near me? So one of the ways that you could do it is kind of, if you have a local pet store, poke around at them, find out if they know of any groups, any Facebook groups, maybe if there's like I don't want to say a Reddit, but if there's like a local forum. You may potentially have a saltwater. We have a saltwater club in our area, but we don't have a freshwater club. So there may be a saltwater club that you could possibly contact and say, hey, I'm not into saltwater, but do you have many freshwater members? Or, how inclusive are you to the freshwater community? And they may say, well, we don't really do freshwater, but we send people to X.
The co-op. The co-op website used to, where you buy everything, used to have a thing that said clubs. Yep. And they might still have that.
I'm almost
you can click,
positive.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go there and click to see where you're, if there's a club close.
Absolutely. Now, if you don't have a club, fear not. Ed and I don't have a club. And we've got, Sean Peck, Rack, Bob Kaler's Aquatics, Ed, and myself, all within about, 3 hours of each other-ish, kind of. And then hundreds of fish people. So, but there's no club.
And Tiffany White.
Yeah. Yeah. And all the people.
Ben Ochar, too. We've got to meet Ben now that he's moved close. But
I was picking on him in one of his live streams about that. Hey, come on out to Knoxville. But yeah, if nothing else, you could probably start, and not that you're necessarily, I'm not going into starting a club. But you could probably start maybe just even a little sub thread on one of like your local listings types things. I know like Craigslist at one point had like people are going to go, oh, the adult section, not the adult conversation section, but that they got in so much trouble for and was scandalous. But they had just like an area where people would start up threads and discuss things. So you may be able to even just start up a thread there and just mention it to your LFS. Go, hey, I'm trying to find some people. And they've said, well, we don't really know of anything. Well, if you get people looking, send them here to get some like-minded individuals together.
I can tell you my personal experience.
Go ahead, buddy.
I was in a big fish club in St. Louis, and I moved here to Chattanooga. And my name used to be what my real name was.
Right.
And I changed it to Chattanooga Ed, and I started meeting everybody in this area. And I mean, that was the whole reason why I made my name was Chattanooga Ed, was so I'd meet people like Bob and then James and everybody else, just because, we don't know where anybody's from by their names, except unless you actually put the name of your city in your name.
Right.
Now, if you're Springfield, I don't know. You may have to say your state and Springfield.
All right. Let's see. Lisa NJ says, I use the same shrimp food for my shrimp too, referencing the Extreme Aquatics shrimpy pellets. They like it, and you're right. It stays together, giving the shrimp time to eat it. Absolutely. Love that stuff. Couldn't recommend it anymore. Mike's Aquatics and things says Sumbus in terms of these shell dwellers. They are beautiful. They are gorgeous. Mike could tell you better on how easily they are, how they compare with multis, I guess is the best way. Are they, just as easy to keep as multis? I know that they're not as common from what I've seen. You may have some trouble tracking them down, and you may have a fight with Mike and some other people like myself that we're all like, we're going to order those. I'm going to order them. No, I'm going to get them. But they're definitely beautiful, and you can actually go check some out on Mike's Aquatics and things. He's got some videos of his. If you're interested in some awesome shellies, they're a little different than your standard multi. Sean says, James, what kind of fish are those in the... Okay, that was that one, and the swords. At least a 30-gallon for that bulldog. Yes, so I'd recommend... bare minimum 29, probably get by, given that plecos aren't necessarily swimming around all day like these guys out in the water column. But I would say 40 breeder would be like my minimum comfort level, if you will, long term. And again, you could put a fish in a tank while it's smaller, move it out. My datnoid is in the bottom one of these tanks, which these are double stack 75s from a local fish store. He's not going to stay in there for life, but he's only about that long, and they grow extremely slowly. I kind of chuckled when Lisa mentioned datnoids on KG's stream earlier, but they get really, really big, and most people don't realize it, but it takes a long time for that particular fish to grow out. Thank goodness. All right.
They're cool.
Epo Aquatics, cool, how's it going? Says James, I know you were remodeling your, and then the chat jumped on me. Gotta love it. Let's roll back up here.
Probably your fish room. How's it going?
Absolutely.
I'm just totally randomly guessing here.
I'm sure that's where it was rolling to, but I'm going to grab it. All right. That's funny. Halo fins in Florida, and this was not the question, but I'm just scrolling through. It says, YouTube recommended I watch your bite video the other day. LOL. Gotta love it. That thing gets about 16 views a day. People love to see somebody get, hurt, I guess is the best way to put that, regardless of the method. Let me get back up here. No, that was a re-ask.
If you would have got bit a few more times, you could have been on Faces of Death.
Absolutely. Well, I did have a site reach out to me. For those of you that like to watch random viral videos and stuff, Lad Bible reached out, and they asked me to sign a release form so that they could pull some of my TikTok content, and I'm sure it was the Piranha Bite stuff. So I thought that was kind of funny. But I did find it, and it was, you were remodeling your fish room the other day. Did you get rid of the angel setups behind you? So the angels from this tank are currently in a 55. Before you hate on me, take into consideration the sizes of tanks that local fish stores temporarily house fish in. Those angels are not going to stay in a 55. They're moving to the 110 gallon. As I mentioned, though, I've got the 110 is currently set up salt, so I've got to break that down, and there's a lot of process I'm not going to bore you all with because I've got questions and super chats and all sorts of stuff to get to, and we've only got 19 minutes left before we go to Chattanooga Ed's. He's got an awesome craft project for tonight for his fish tanks.
Boy, we didn't even talk about the swap yet.
We haven't. I'm trying to get caught up, but there's lots of good questions, and I appreciate that. And I would rather answer all the questions that we get than just give you what I want to talk about, so to speak. So sometimes we have next to no questions, and anytime we plan for just questions, that's usually how it works. It's, hey, we're going to take questions. What are we going to talk about? So we always have a backup. Recon, appreciate you still lurking. Good to see you. I'm going to kind of fly through here real quick so I can get to the super chat so we could talk a little bit about the swap, and I'm sure we could probably talk about it some on yours while we're working on your working on your craft project. Paul was asking, and that was about the storm cells No, not really. Recon 338 says, I dig the hat. Yeah, huge shout out to Corey at Aquarium Co-op. Hashtag not sponsored, but it was very, very cool to send a hat and a shirt. A couple cool things like these awesome towels because I needed to order one of those, and some coasters. I love them. Got it on here so I can keep my tabletop nice and dry. But Ed and I are both huge fans of the Coupe. Everything from their air pump to easy green and all that stuff. So always, I love sporting the Murphy hat. I almost put the Murphy pen I have on the Murphy hat, but I didn't know if that was too much Murphy redundancy. But I don't know that that's the thing. You roll through here.
John from Select Pet said, we can talk about the swap during Ed's stream while Ed makes his thing. I won't tell what it even is if I knew.
Absolutely. Scotty Nanya says, have a great stream. Appreciate you. You're out shoveling snow and lurking. Good luck with the shoveling. Be careful. Don't hurt your back or slip and fall. And I think we're pretty much to the bottom. Getting there. Select Pet says, if I could start a club, you can too. I'll even drive down to a Knoxville club. I have to get a lot of things situated, and I need to make sure that I am able to fulfill all of my content obligations, meaning obligations I myself have put in place for me before I'm working on clubs. So before I ever think about considering a club, I need to be consistently putting out, a weekly members video, a weekly regular video. I do 2 live streams a week. I do content on, other platforms as well. To try and reach out and get as much of the fish community involved together as possible, because there's a huge following on places like TikTok. Love it or hate it. There's a huge fish community over there that doesn't even interact with YouTube. So trying to pull some of those people into the fish fam, if you will, I feel is a great thing in terms of community activism, I guess. But who knows? Maybe one day. All right. I am going to get
got a club started here in Chattanooga, actually. Just started. I haven't been to a meeting yet.
So this is a great question. I'm going to answer this, and I'm going to get to all these awesome people that have done the super chats and stickers and the new members. Collins Critter Cave says, if you were starting your first fish room again, what 2-size tanks would be your primary investment? 40 breeders, absolutely, 100%. Would definitely do 40 breeders. The other one, even though it is probably one of my least favorite tank styles, is going to be the standard 20 gallons. Not the 20 longs, but the standard 20s. Now, I'm not a fan of that style, and nothing against it if you are. I much prefer the 20 longs, but in terms of going for the utilitarian breeding guppies, 10 gallons are okay. You can make it work, but I would much rather have a rack of 20s that I could breed the guppies out in, and then do 40 longs for a lot of other stuff. So those would be my 2 if I was starting over. And fish room builds are one of those things that is constantly evolving. Every time you do it, you make it a bit better until you can hopefully at one point get it exactly how you want it, and then you'll change your mind on how you want it. All right, let's go over here. I'm going to be looking back and forth because I've got these on the other monitor here. And Mike's Aquatics and Things, what's going on, buddy? I need to do this real quick. Where's it at? Oh, I did Mike's Aquatics and Things stickers last week, I think. If I didn't, I got them right here. Huge thank you to Mike for sending those out. Couldn't remember if I showed those last week. I think I did, but appreciate the stickers, my friend. Thank you very much. I hate to ask the mods to do work, but if somebody will put the P.O. box, if anybody wants to send stickers, I love stickers. Collect them, put them on the fish tank. Love to show them off. Appreciate you sending those. And I'll show the other stickers here in a minute. Aquatic Aesthetics becoming a new member. That's Ed's local fish store owner down near Chattanooga, Tennessee. Thank you very much for that, Rob. Much appreciate it. The numbers keep bouncing back. I know a couple people are waiting for the new emoji. We're 2 members away right now, including Rob at Aquatic Aesthetics joining. I know we've got a couple people that memberships just lapsed that aren't on auto renew. Assuming they renew here in the next day or so, we should have our target goal to get that new members only emoji up for you all that were asking about it. Let's see.
Something weird happened to me. I lost 2 of my memberships to Danikin and Bob Kaler. They both shut off. I had to renew them.
Huh. That's odd.
Isn't that weird? Yeah, but all my rest of them that at least I remember are still there. So
it happens. YouTube does really weird stuff. Mike's Aquatics and things. Again, thank you for that $5 super chat. And Aquatic Aesthetics, thank you for joining the Fish Room Fever family, becoming a member. Very much appreciated. Our buddy Xanadu dropping the $1 pile of fertilizer on the chat, keeping the plants growing with that brown pile. Thank you very much for that, Xanadu. Always good to see you. Hope you're doing well tonight. Rico Stan throwing a $10 super chat out there. That guy, that awesome guy, he sent me, I'm trying to make sure he doesn't get doxxed and I don't get doxxed showing addresses, which I think that's just the P.O. box on there. But he sent me some awesome stickers and an awesome little card and some super fancy stickers as well. So thank you very much for that, Rico Stan. I really had a blast coming on your channel and having a good conversation. And I love the way you're doing your interview style stuff. But thank you also for the $10 super chat. It says, love the fact that I've been seeing you out in other streams again. I also feel like it's time to sponsor another giveaway since you hit 2.5K. So yes, our awesome friend there, Rico Stan, sponsored the Christmas giveaways. Rico Claus, amazing, awesome supporter of the fish community. So yeah, Rico, just let me know, send me an email, and I would love to get together and find out what you want to do. And also, if you want to go hang out with some fishy people, but maybe get some more kind of behind the scenes, not necessarily fishy talk, and kind of get to know awesome YouTubers. Of course, I'm not saying I'm awesome, but you know, you got people like Sean Peck and Ed and all sorts of awesome people. You get to know a little bit more about them. Go check out Rico Stan's stuff, and of course, he's got fishy stuff on there too. But thank you.
You know, he also has a second show. He does another show on Mondays with me, and we talk comic books, which is a little off the normal fish content, but he gave out his first fish tip of the ever on Monday's night stream. So that was kind of neat. So you never know what you're going to get.
Fish Tank Barn with the $1 super sticker with the big money eyes. Appreciate that. Mike, hoping to get to see you at one of these shows or swaps this year, buddy. But I appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate you being a member, and I appreciate that super chat, my friend. Mr. Fish. Sorry, buddy. What's that?
Nope, never mind. I'll wait till you get there.
All righty. Mr. Fish, sir, with the $5 super sticker with the good job, Fox. Appreciate you, Brad. Hope you're doing well. Looking forward to meeting up with you again. Lots of people in here that I've gotten to hang out with once, and looking forward to seeing again. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Fish, sir. Our buddy Kenny E with Danigan Aquatics, the $5 super chat says, what's up, gents? Good to see you, brother. I appreciate you being here. Another person I'm looking forward to meeting again. For those of you that don't know, Ed and I went to Florida with Kenny to meet Father Fish, and he's got some video footage of me like this in the water up to my neck, you know, beard soaked, collecting wild fish down in Florida. So go check that out.
4-foot alligators.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But thank you, Kenny, Danigan Aquatics, for that super chat. Salty Reef with the $3 super sticker with the thumbs up fist bump pair, as I like to call it. Thank you very much for that. Somebody I need to talk to on the salty side of things. It's been well over a decade since I've done a reef tank. So I'm going to be brushing up on, I don't want to say the trends, but the developments in the hobby over the past 10 years. But thank you very much for that super sticker and for being with us. Glad to have you here. Fantastic Freaks with the $5 super chat says, howdy, James. Ed, as always, love the streams. Might have to send you to some puffers soon. Got a pair showing breeding behavior. Hoping to see eggs soon. That is awesome. I caught that while scrolling through earlier. I didn't actually get to watch the full video, but I saw that on your on my feed. Super, super cool. Congratulations to you. And I would definitely make room. I'll end up with about 36 empty tanks. So we can always set up one more tank, right? But I appreciate you. Fantastic. And I'm glad to hear you got that going on. As many puffers as you have, it's not surprising that you would eventually have some puffers making some babies. And then the awesome Ginger Graves, another part of the Tennessee Fish Mafia, with the $5 super sticker with the High Fox. Appreciate you, Ginger. Hope you're doing well. I know
tomorrow I get to hang out with Ginger.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Very, very cool.
Keep saying nice thing about her.
I love Ginger. She's awesome. I've got some axolotls that came from Ginger. But thank you very much for that, Ginger. And hopefully I'll get to see you soon. Hillbilly Aquatic, what is going on with the $2 super sticker with the cool exercise pair? Wobbling back and forth. Looks like he's been exercising a lot. Thank you very much for that, Hillbilly Aquatic. And then the bottom one on there, I cannot see on this screen, but it's a new member color. And I saw a new member pop up. Get it to click on here. Freaky Fish Lady. I like that name. That is awesome. I like the avatar too. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the Fisherman Fever family. You get a chance, you can go check out all the behind the scenes stuff for the members only. I appreciate you showing the love and support. And of course, you got the members only emojis in the chat. Holly Gibbs. Okay, there we go. Another name change. Thank you, Holly, for letting me know that is you. A longtime supporter of the stream and friend of the Fisherman Fever family. Thank you very much, Holly Gibbs. Now,
great new name.
Fish Lady. I love it. I really, really do. So I'm going to grab a couple more questions. We've got about 7 minutes left. Let me see what I can get back to because I saw a couple of good ones coming through here. Hey, Crystal's Pets and Plants. Good to see you. Mikim says, I'm late, but ask anyways. Fisherman Fever, how many items did you get from yours and Ed's trip? Not a lot this time. So Ed and I mostly went to hang out with people, and we're talking about the fish swap again. And there were a lot of people there that, because I was kind of like, well, is there anything you're expecting to find? Kind of trying to work on some like footage or whatever. But they're like, is there anything you came, specifically to look for? I'm like, no, we just want to talk to fish people. Just want to hang out with fish people. So I ended up with one type of guppy. I got, and this wasn't from the swap, but we went to one of the awesome people in here, their fish store, which Ed and I both did tour footage. And we got a couple of things there. I'm not even going to tell you exactly what we got. We're going to save that surprise. Those of you that were on the live stream the other night, we talked a little bit about it. But from the swap, I got guppies and a lot of plants. And that's one of the awesome things is the plants that you can find at these swaps. Before we get too much into that, I have one more piece of mail that I want to share. And ooh, Ed, I opened this and I got you some stickers, but I didn't realize these were in here. Bird Garden, our buddy Rack, sent me this awesome little card. Thank you very much for that. And it was thank you for your support. Rack, brother, thank you for yours if you're listening. I know it's a little bit late. Then, of course, more Bird Garden stickers for his Bird Garden YouTube channel. And these, I didn't see these in there, Ed, or I would have given you one. He sent me a couple of these Bird Garden guitar picks.
You know what? He sent those to me also.
Awesome. I can keep all three of these to myself then.
Yes.
Perfect. I love it. But I very much wanted to say a huge thank you to Rack at Bird Garden YouTube channel. He's also got the Pond Life YouTube channel, formerly River Life. Very much appreciate that. I've got a bunch of his art, so I'm going to have to find where to add that. But that's a very cool little card and do very much appreciate it. But in regard to the swap, just a couple points, and we can make this a talking point for another stream so that we have more time to kind of go into it. I find that fish swaps are a wonderful place to get a hold of some really good deals on some plants. Of course, check out Aquarium Co-op for your plant needs. But I found a couple things that, like stuff you're not going to find online. I found some, 2 foot plus tall. It's got to be at least 2 foot. A Pontigeton, things like that. Some really nice big plants that you're probably not going to order online. And if you find them in a local fish store, a lot of the time, they're going to be more expensive. And that's not to say that they're jacking the price up, but growing something that size a lot of times for commercial reasons, it's going to cost more money. So you can find some things that, maybe this plant would be $50 in a pet store if you could even find it. You can get it for, $10, $15. Awesome stuff like that. The crinum that I've got back here, which actually extends almost all the way across the top of the tank if I let it. I got that at a local fish store, but I bought it very, very, very small. I actually got that at Aquatic Marine, my favorite local fish store here in Knoxville. But I noticed some much larger pieces of it at really good prices, and a lot of stuff is that way. One of the things I will say is if you're getting fish, just kind of double check your bags. And not to say don't trust people, but just kind of make sure that everything's been properly identified. Ed and I have had issues in the past, but we buy a bag of fish and you get it home and you get it unbagged and acclimated and all that. And it goes in the tank and you go, I thought I got 3 bags of this red mosaic guppy. And really it was 2 red mosaic bags and a mutt or, a different strain of guppy. So just kind of, don't be afraid to look in the bag. I know a lot of times they're discolored and it could be hard, but don't hesitate to do a little bit of investigation.
Yeah, that actually happened to me. I bought, ooh, boy, a lot of cat hair in my hand. I bought 3 bags of half blacks, and one of them was actually mutt guppies. But I didn't pour it into the tank because I look at them before I put them in. But the mutt guppies end up going into the mutt guppy tank. But it's still kind of disappointing. So I wish I would have looked.
Absolutely. I will say it was absolutely amazing. The turnout that was there, even the club, they didn't expect to turn out. There were over 300 people from what I think the final tally was for a local club swap, which is phenomenal. Couldn't have been better. I know a lot of people have been really antsy to be able to get out to a fish meetup and do some things like that. So I'm really, really hoping that this is a positive sign for 2021, that we're going to have some great things going on. Because 2020, as all of you are aware, was kind of smashed to bits with the state of health affairs, I guess is the best way to put it. All right. Mr. Fisher said, did they have any big tanks at the Swap Fish Room Fever? I didn't see any big tanks. There were some great opportunities for like used equipment. There was some lighting I missed out on, unfortunately. That was one guy. Yeah. Sorry, Ed. Go ahead, buddy.
No, one guy walked out with like 10 glass lids.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have seen those. It was really bizarre how we had to go through, and it was really hard to see everything.
Absolutely. And I'm not complaining. I think the way that they set it up was appropriate given the state of things. And they didn't expect that many people, but the way it was set up was you had the line, your temp was checked, they took your admission fee, which is just $3, and they gave you a wristband. They then had so many people were allowed to go into the first room of vendors or tables. And then once they left there, you went to a second room, but it was all one way. So you went through, you looked at the tables, you went out, you went to the next. There wasn't the typical, at least how I do it, and I know Ed does, is we kind of bounce back and forth. And I'm going to look here, and I'll come back over here. But you went through one way, and then you had to go to the back of the line, which would not have been a problem, except for after an hour, there was still a line extending all the way out the hotel lobby. And you all will see that in the upcoming video. I pieced together a small video of the event. So it was kind of one of those things that by the time you got back in there, if you'd missed it, if you wanted something, it was probably gone. I noticed several people walking out with things like the used lights. I saw them and I was like, ooh, and I was trying to kind of be in a hurry and be courteous so other people could get in the door. And then I saw somebody walking out with those used lights and I was like, darn it, I should have bought them on the first go around, but it was still a blast. It very much was. All right. I don't know if that's just frozen or if I'm actually at the bottom. I know there are some things I missed. I do apologize to you all, but it is 10:31 Eastern time for Ed and myself. You ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here. Where you can go is over to Chattanooga Ed's channel for the Nocturnal Feeding Show, where we'll be feeding your late night hobby hunger. Ed has got an awesome aquarium crafts project set up that we're going to work on. We'll continue to take questions and all of those wonderful things. So, Ed, final thoughts?
Yep. Don't be afraid to get those hands wet. Keep those tanks clean.
Absolutely. And of course, as always, a huge thank you to the members, moderators, lurkers, listeners, questioners, commentators, and the awesome replay crew. I love you guys, each and every one of you that showed up. 133 people still watching now, and 100 plus likes means the world to me. I'm very, very much appreciative of that. Let's go check out Chattanooga Ed. Link in the chat there. Until next time, keep your fish healthy. Keep yourselves healthy. Catch yourself a little fish room fever. Take care, everybody.